All right, we good. Justin,
Let's
man,
do it.
first off, bro, I appreciate you, man, coming onto the platform, sharing your story, man. Starting off, bro, how are you feeling right now post the doc, post Coach Roy being on Joe Budden as well? How's everything been for you?
Everything been straight. I'm trying to get back to normal. Like, I know who I was before the school, so I'm just trying to get back to that person. So, like,
Yeah.
really, I can say that everything overall been pretty good though. Like, it's a bright future for sure.
I feel you, bro. Hearing your story, man, I saw the doc when it first dropped. I was like super captivated. You know, seeing you on the story, I would be listening. I'm paying attention to you, your teammates. Starting off, what got you connected with Coach Roy and then Bishop Sycamore later on?
Okay, so basically, Roy found me through a school that I was gonna go to prior to Bishop Sycamore called USA Academy. USA Academy was basically Bishop Sycamore before it happened. So like same type of rundown and everything. It just happened prior to Bishop Sycamore. So he found me through the social media on the team page, hit me up on Instagram, invited me out to do like a tour or whatever. Got out there and it wasn't at all like, what it was supposed to be. So I mean, the first time it was a lot better than when I actually went out there. The first time he flew me out there for like a visit, quote unquote. I seen the apartments. It was nice apartments. Everything was top tier. Then I went back out there, and it's like a whole different ball game. Like it was none of that. The facility he showed me, they didn't even go there. Equipment, wasn't none of that. Players, nothing.
Yeah, dang. And bro, seeing the practices like in the soccer facility somewhat, no pads, during those practices, how was that environment? Like, were you guys doing conditioning? Were you guys like, how do you even do proper tackling drills, proper one-on-ones? Because it's tight spaces. So how was that practice live somewhat for the players?
Practice was nothing really but like borderline technique. And what I mean by that, you might, for instance, like you have O-linemen just hitting the bag,
Right.
simple O-line stuff. Then you'll have most of the practice wide receivers running routes. It wasn't really no plays. We didn't tackle. The first time we tackled head-to-head contact or anything was Bishop Hoban, the first game of the season. Wow. And a lot of us, that was the first time that year, outside of like camps, putting on helmets, shoulder pads, was the game day. So it's like you got put out there with really no acclimation or nothing.
Yeah, no, I feel that. And I think the common viewer's question, it would be, okay, Justin, seeing y'all practice in bad facilities, seeing that the food was trash, seeing that Coach Roy had no real football background, when did it click for y'all that, this might not be what Coach Roy tried to build it up to be per se?
Okay, so I put it like this. I know that for me, at least, I seen this stuff, and although it raised the red flags, I'm thinking, okay, let's get into a game. Let's do an actual game. So for me, it was actually after Hoban, I thought I was like, okay, yeah, this is really not gonna work. The players are we not properly coached. People had COVID, injuries, everything of that nature, and we didn't have a trainer. It was just awkward. So I was like, after I seen a couple different situations happen to other players, for me, it was like, okay, get out of there for it be your turn.
Yeah, no, I feel you. And bro, you were smart. You got up out of there. It was a bad situation. Coach Roy, seeing him on the Joe Budden podcast, I was caught off guard, but I could kind of see that coming because Joe, he was already talking about Coach Roy. So then, of course, he had him on.
Right.
Seeing Coach Roy talk about you and your teammates, say, just basically a rapper now. How did you feel knowing that, man, he was supposed to save you. He was supposed to be your coach, supposed to be a positive male figure for you. And now he just turned on you. And not only you, all of your teammates as well. How did that feel for you?
I mean, for me, it wasn't like it's Roy. Like I didn't have to. It didn't catch me off guard. It caught me off guard that he spoke on me, but like it didn't catch me off guard to like the stuff that he was saying, like him not having no remorse about it. That's Roy. So, but like the thing that caught me off was like he was like he's trying to be a rapper or this, that, and third. Man, I got before I even went to the school, I told him that was what I was doing. I was making music. He like to keep this PG. anybody from the team will tell you if I drop music or make music. This before I was even dropping music. Roy will be on it. Oh, I need to get on something.
Wow.
He was just like, he meet Ryan basically, and I'm like, okay, cool. Like, and ain't nothing wrong with it. You say it's support or whatever. So like, I never like went out of my way to say nothing like that. But then when you get on the podcast and then try to pop it like, oh, he just trying to do this because of this. No, it was gonna happen regardless, with or without Bishop Sycamore. So it just happened to go the way it did, and then it just made sense.
And bro, I'm gonna tell you this, man. You more than what he tells you that y'all are, man. Y'all way more than that. Y'all gonna defy this situation, be a whole lot bigger than it. So you ain't even gotta worry about that. So going through that, hearing about him talking and stuff, bro. Another thing that was so alarming was the whole PPP loan stuff. Was that story true? Because on the podcast, he was trying to go against it and trying to like dodge that. Was he taking kids' social security numbers and then applying for PPP loans and taking those funds out on y'all's names?
I know for me, he tried to say, oh, he had a PPP loan. I didn't put it in his name. I never said you put a loan in my name. It was kids that you was pressuring to do this loan, though. You was trying to get them to do this loan, or if you ain't doing this, you ain't going to school. So up into that, like that's as far I'm take that, because that's still a serious matter. So like I don't even want to too much playing that side of things. But at the end of the day, he know what he did. He know how he went about it. He know what was reasons of us getting up out of there and like the real.
Yeah. Seeing the doc, seeing how things played out, I think that they did a great job of showing how the practices were, the games, the equipment, things like that. But the only thing that I felt like that was missing, where y'all, of course, come in, is seeing that day to day, right? What was it like in between games? What was it like during summer practices and training where there's no games and there's no real campus? What was that like for y'all?
So me, I was going to the studio.
Yeah.
I'm playing a game, riding around Columbus, making music. I'm just doing what I normally do at the crib. I'm just waiting on. We'll have a practice, like a 30-minute practice or something, or a walkthrough, or film or something. But it wouldn't be nothing serious. So I'm just like doing my day-to-day life. Like it's just, I'm here now. You're just sitting. Ain't no classes to go to.
Wow. Bro, speaking on that, with classes, right? Was it this open campus type vibe where it's just classes online where they were trying to depict that? So you already shake your head. So were there any classes that was taking place? Any curriculum? No? Wow. Wow. So y'all as young men knowing, okay, we don't have any classes. When did it click to fully understand, okay, if I'm not taking classes, I don't have credits right now?
For me, it was I knew that I needed a language class, and I'm like, okay, this is a simple foreign language. It shouldn't be hard to do this. And he was like, "Oh, we're gonna start classes after the Hoban game." Then he like, "Oh, we're gonna start classes at the 1st of September." Then I'm like, "Nah, there's something ain't right about this." So then when I'm saying like, okay, I need to move around from this situation. It's so many red flags at this point. That's just one of the red flags that just was like the end of it. Like, okay, cool, I got to slide now. It's not what it was made to be.
Right. I feel you. Coach Roy on the dot, again saying, well, Justin, he wasn't even there for some of those games. Is that true? And even if that is true, how did that feel that he's trying to discredit your entire experience because you weren't there for the big game?
I wasn't there for that game because I'm sure there's a lot of other players that had the ability to not be there for that game. They wouldn't have been there for that game. I had the ability to not be there for that game. Who finna go play? If I know you finna make money from this game, right? And you can't even do the due diligence to like make sure we got a proper training for the game, therapy, food, just normal stuff. Like you can't even do normal stuff, but you want me to stay and put my body on the line for you. What am I getting from that? Like, that don't make sense to me at all. You got people, you throwing in extra games. People like, it's like you using people as like and I'm gonna be easy on the word, but you're trying to like use people like slaves. Like, what are we doing from this? We can't even get an education, but we out here playing for y'all, making y'all money, bringing notoriety to your school or whatever. Although I didn't play inside the IMG game, if you go look up the article, you was already putting my name out there. If for somebody to not be at your program for 3 weeks, you already got my name in articles about an IMG game and being one of the top 2 players on the team, me and Trillian, and it wouldn't have been that. If I had little involvement, as you say, it wouldn't have been that.
I hear you. Coaching staff wise, bro, besides Coach Roy, who else was on that staff, and were y'all getting adequate actual football coaching that properly developed each player?
We had a couple other coaches. Coach Terry. Coach Terry, like anybody from the team, really say Coach Terry should have been the head coach. Like he had the most like coach mindset. Everything that he did was actually like that only time it felt like an actual school, actual practice when Coach Terry was involved with it. Other than that, no, we had Coach Jackson. He took over as the head coach, quote unquote, at the end of the season. We had them two, but other than them two, it really wasn't nobody else.
Yeah, I got you. On the dock too, man, something that was so alarming was, hearing players and some of the coaches talk about creating the playbooks off of plays on Madden. When y'all would be in practice doing installs, especially on the O-line, trying to do run fits, things like that, could y'all start to like whisper, hey, Coach Roy, he might not know what he's talking about?
No, we ain't gonna lie to you. Before we even got to hoping game, we really ain't run plays before. It wasn't like we didn't know plays. The O-line didn't have block schemes, pass block, no, nothing of that. So you will see a lot of time if it's a pass, everybody run blocking every play. It's run block every play. So it's like it wasn't any instructions on certain stuff, and it just didn't work. Like we were threw out there with simple, we running right, block left. We running left, block right. Like just simple stuff. And it's like, that's not, when you got teams that's fully prepared, there's nothing you can do against that.
Hey, that's not going to work. Staying on that same point, teams that's actually fully prepared that watch film, IMG. When you were watching that game, if you were, what were you thinking of seeing that?
Like this, I made a good decision. I got up out of there when I could.
For sure. Man, that's crazy. And then the players, their helmets popping off. Equipment-wise, man, what was up with that? With the poor helmets, it's like Zenith helmets I was seeing, and some helmets would be Rydell, so it would be like different brands. So how was that with the shoulder pads, the helmets?
Man, we didn't get equipment until the first game. Like literally, you go watch back the game. The first game we had of the season, Arch Holden. You'll see Coach Roy while the game kicking off. You'll see Coach Roy bringing equipment onto the field, and like the game going. Like okay, first play of the game, none of our O-line had pads. So you got running backs, D tackles, linebackers playing O-line while we trying to find pads.
Wow.
So like we didn't. A lot of us was the first time we was in pads that summer.
Wow. So going through all of those things with the equipment, nutrition is a major thing as well. Most high schools, colleges now, they have great nutritionists, they have great staffs, refueling. How was the food? And not only that, is it true that you guys would have to sometimes steal food as well?
At the time when I went to Bishop Sycamore, like I said, I was in a better predicament. So like, I drove. At the time, I was pretty like well off. I could kind of move how I wanted to, how I needed to move, and when it came to food and stuff. So it was never a time where I was like, oh, I don't got it. But it was times where players would be like, oh, can we have some of this? Or if I get a pizza or something, oh, we can get this. We ain't got nothing today. And I'm like, okay, cool. So it was like at certain times, it's like, okay, these folks ain't got food. And I'm knowing they don't have food, but at the same time, it's like I came up here to go to school. I didn't come up here to like try to like, we at the time, 18, 19, we still young adults at the same time. So it's like I didn't try to come up here to raise nobody else. I can do what I can, but as far as like it's like an everyday thing or we don't have rides to practice. Like I remember it was 4 people inside my Charger, 3 people inside the trunk on the way to practice. So it's like it was one of those things. It's like it never felt like a real school.
Yeah, no, I feel that. Man, again, y'all went through so much in a short period of time. You were brave enough to leave, but why don't you think more players left?
They couldn't. A lot of people was counting on Roy to pay their tickets back home. People had a lot of stuff there. So it's like one of the things you couldn't just up and move unless you had your own vehicle. A lot of people was from the West Coast, Florida, California. So it's like it just wasn't as simple as it was for me for a lot of other people.
For sure. Knowing that Coach Roy, he was able to get so many players from different parts of the country, why do you think he was able to attract so many people? And then knowing that, I don't even have a real campus, no curriculum. So how did it work so effectively?
because we went to camps, right? And in camp, like they say, camp play and in-season play is totally different. In camp,
Right.
we were smashing in camp. Like we was going crazy in camp. That's like individually. That's why I say if we had an actual coach, I feel like to like coach the team, put us in predicaments that made sense. I feel like we would have had good shots against a lot of people. We had we had a dude named Jeremy Naborn, real athlete. Was about to commit to Ohio State. Like
Wow.
I'm telling you, like during the summer, we go to schools. For instance, we went to Ohio State. One of the offensive coaches, Terwilliger, was like, "Oh, y'all don't need to go to Marshall tomorrow. The fuck is Marshall? Come back to us tomorrow." So it's like we had relationships with these coaches. It's just everything outside of actual gameplay, housing, nutrition was like what we went for. You got the attention that you needed when it came to like coaches putting eyes on you, but we wasn't getting the I guess you could say the curriculum and the other stuff.
Yeah, bro. Seeing that food, man, again, I don't know if that was oatmeal, it seemed like porridge. What was that? And would y'all see those meals on a everyday, regular type basis?
They probably would. I'm not seeing them. I'm not eating that. So
I
I'm not
see.
eating that. So like
Yeah.
a lot of things like people don't understand. It was a group of people. It was maybe 14 to 24 people that stayed with Coach Roy in his family house.
Wow.
I wasn't going for that. I moved from Georgia, left my apartment, came up here went to Columbus, Ohio, with my car packed and everything. So I'm like, I gotta have an apartment, bro. And it's like he wasn't on that for like a good 4 or 5 days. We moved from hotel to hotel. And I'm like, man, I'm finna go back home. He's like, no, we got apartments. So they had the apartment, went to the apartment. I was the first person to have an apartment. We were 4 deep in the apartment.
Wow.
And it was my brother. He came from Georgia with me. Went up there. But then the running back that went to school with me and went to Bishop Sycamore with me, Mikos Todd. He was the 4-star coming out of high school. And Trill, the quarterback. It was only us. And I'm like, other than that, that's all we doing, bro. Like we can't. It's not gonna be 2-bedroom, 8 people deep. I'm not doing that. I'm going back to the spot. That's not at all what I signed up for.
For sure. Being from Georgia, I'm from Georgia too. Growing up, what was that whole experience like, man, for you? Because I think people talk about Bishop Sycamore, y'all's time there, but I'm like, these were actual young adults before that. So what was life like for Justin before Bishop Sycamore?
I was doing music. I was locked in with a lot of big names. Everything just kind of went down here at the same time. I was locked in with Unfold. That's a YSL artist. I was getting out there. I felt like getting out there the right way. And then something told me, you need to go get football one more shot. Because at the time, I'm feeling like, I'm gonna fix my phone. I'm feeling like everything is feeling like, it's going. This rapping is like it's not a career. It's not promised. Anything can go wrong. So while you got this God-given size and talent, go see what you can do on the field again. So I'm like, okay, that's why I gave Bishop Sycamore one more shot. But as far as like, I didn't per se feel like Bishop Sycamore was a make or break type of thing. It was one of those things of already going into it. That's why a lot of the red flags at the beginning was already like if it don't work, okay, I got this plan. If it do, it do. So before that, I was just I was doing YouTube, had my spot still in Georgia. Then I went out there, and everything ain't shook back the same since then. So,
not for sure. How did you find peace once football was officially over? How did you try to find peace with that?
Music.
That's the only way through. I got you. Outside of music as well, what do you do to, try to find peace within yourself?
Read, pay attention to stuff.
I got you.
It's you don't got to make it too complex. It's simple.
Sure.
Don't allow things to take over if it takes too much of your energy, move away from it. It ain't worth it. I was given at school at the time, I was like, oh, I can't do this because of this, or I can't move because of this. And it's like I was giving that situation too much energy. If I take that same energy I'm giving this situation, put it to something else.
Come on. Yeah.
Nothing else to it.
For sure. On the way back from Columbus, man, what was just running through your mind on the way back?
Glad we slid. Glad I felt like we were getting out of jail.
Right.
We was doing, man, I'm talking like on the way up there, I drove at the time. I drove a 2019 RT Durango. So and it had the pipes on it, like it was decked out. So we on the way up there, we doing like 120 up there. We slime, we happy, we feel like we going to school. On the way back, we felt like we was getting out of prison. We doing the same thing back down the mountain.
Jeez, man. Bro, all the games too. I think the week of IMG, was it 2 or 3 games played in the same week?
It was October, and they played some school in Pennsylvania, I believe, or somewhere. Then they went and played IMG a couple days, like a day after.
So, Justin, for all the people who be tuning in and watching who don't or who haven't played football, can you explain how crazy that is to play multiple games in a week like an AAU basketball team, and how treacherous that could be on the body, especially in the trenches playing O-line, D-line?
Right. So O-line, D-line, I feel like it's crazier because every play is contact. Every play is contact. And then being that we didn't have the right and proper training staff to rehab or get our bodies right for the next time. Like, okay, if a school like IMG do it, okay, of course they probably went through the right precautions, and they don't even do it. Maybe they took the right steps to make sure their players are ready to go out and do this. But like a school like Bishop Sycamore not having the right trainers, any of that, I guess to do it, I know the people that played on that team. So I know it's like a couple different ways you can look at it. I know that it's a team full of dudes who wanted to get out of the situation they was already in. So in their heads, oh, it's an extra day of film. It's an extra game day. It's an extra film for us. It's a better opportunity. It's a prep game before IMG. See how we look. So I'm on that side, but then again, I'm on the side of like, man, this dude putting us out here. He trying to get his name out here as a coach, as a school, but at the same time, you're not doing the due diligence to even make sure we straight to even do this. So you feel like a pawn, or you feel like you're being used as property or something.
I feel that. Coach Roy, his main argument is always about exposure to the players, right? Hearing y'all talk about put it on film. I get that. Where do you think that line it should be drawn between, yeah, coach, I want exposure, but at that same time, like you're trying to play me too?
When you expected to play at one level but not be given the equipment, materials, tools to execute the task. So I feel like if you want me to play one way but don't give me the tools to be able to play this way, but you feel some type of way about it or something, I feel like that's not right.
Yeah.
So
film wise, did you guys have access to things like Huddle, or how did y'all go about preparation, film, things of that sort?
Man, okay, so basically with me with Huddle, I was under my high school still. He took my Huddle still say Bishop Sycamore. And
oh wow.
Yeah, it's crazy. So but it's like all my high school film. So like it's weird.
Man, that's crazy. Hearing Coach Roy, right, on Joe Budden's podcast, shout out to them. Pretty much he's not done. Bishop Sycamore is still in existence. How can future athletes, young adults, avoid taking that path?
Don't go.
Yeah.
I'm telling you now, don't go. That's the only way to do it. Don't go.
Yeah.
You go, it's on you.
Yeah, sure. Being in high school, right? What led Justin to going from being a high school athlete to then going to Bishop Sycamore? What was that whole route like in your life?
Not taking myself serious. That simple. Yeah. I'm 6'9", 350 pounds, 6'9", like 330 at the time. I could play at any school in America. I didn't take grades seriously. I didn't take football serious until it was too late. And by the time it was too late, I had to reap what I had already sowed by playing in school, not taking myself seriously. And so it's like, I can't just sit here and say, oh, if it wasn't for Roy, I'd be at Alabama. If it wasn't for me, I would be at Alabama. So it's like a part to where every player that went to that school got to take some type of ownership, some type of responsibility for being in that predicament. Roy didn't get us out of high school. Well, a couple players he did. But for me, he didn't get me out of high school and say, oh, don't mess up all these years because you can come play for me.
Self-accountability. I respect that. So on the dock too, seeing again everything with the equipment, the staff, all of that. What was it like when Bishop Sycamore pretty much got exposed? Did you talk to your former teammates about y'all like this is crazy, or was everybody just not talking to each other?
For me, I had kept my distance from a lot of people, because it's like it was just a couple different situations that had happened prior to leaving, and I feel like it was just best if everybody took their time, because everybody, I wasn't, I had never, like, before I went to Bishop Sycamore, I had never lost games like that, like 2 games back to back, games in general. Like, I'm not used to that. I went to a school that right now got the best player in the nation, number 1 player in the nation, number 1 quarterback, Juju Lewis. So I came from Carrollton, Bremen, like my whole career of football, I probably lost less than 5 games. So to go up there to a school that nobody take it seriously, nobody really care for real, not trying to win, the coaches don't care for real, it's like I don't too much got nothing to say to nobody for real. It'll be like okay, well, how you doing, bro? Oh, you good? Oh, that's what's up. We'll go about my business, but to make it my business to go out of the way and call you every day, see how you doing, that's not, no.
Feel that. HBO, when they first approached you, what was that process like for the documentary?
So HBO approached me after I had already signed with a whole different company, because Roy putting me down like, oh, you finna do the music for this documentary. Like, that's what I'm saying. Roy lied and said, oh, you finna do the music for this documentary. I got it set up for you, this, that, and the third, so don't do HBO. So I'm like, don't do HBO. But then I'm seeing out on the internet, like, Roy Johnson signs with HBO. So I'm like, what dude got going on? So I go and sign with a whole different company because they telling us that Roy hasn't signed nowhere yet. So I'm like, okay, cool. So I wait about 3 months. I'm like, where Roy Johnson at? And like, oh, he signed with HBO. So I'm like, so this the documentary I want to be on. What he got going on? So then I get over there and they like, oh, what? He told you what? Then they ask him, oh, I don't know nothing about that. You know I told you I was gonna get you here, but nobody knew nothing about nothing. So I'm like, all right, cool. So then we get on there. They like, oh, he told you he was gonna do the music, then you gonna do the music then. And I did the producers, or the directors, Mark Desmond, Trayvon Free, they looked out. Meets Golden, one of the producers, he looked out big time. It was just everybody. Everybody looked out, played a respectful part, and it was just they made the I guess you could say the trip. It felt good. It was easy. Everything.
Gotcha.
My phone do not disturb. 1 second.
For sure. Yep. You clear. When you first sat down in that chair on the dock, and when the questions start to roll in, how are you feeling of having to relive all of those bad experiences?
It was just it felt like a well-needed therapy session. Like some stuff, a lot of stuff you ain't deal with. Like they ask you the questions of like why you do it, or what made you do it, or how you feel, what just all the questions that you haven't been asked before. So it felt like a good time to like, okay, why I do it? Oh, I did do this because of this. Or for me, I had brought 2 other players with me, so it was like, now you recommended them to come to this school, man. They futures up too. So it's like it's a lot of different stuff you had to deal with at that time.
Mm-hmm. Yes, sir. Do you feel like your story it was depicted in the right way per se?
Most definitely. Most definitely.
Gotcha. Yeah. Seeing all the stuff on Twitter, Instagram, social media, what do you and your teammates, castmates as well on the doc feel about how people receive the story in the documentary?
I feel like it went up. It did justice. It did what it's supposed to do. It shed the light on the right things, and also like let people like to see who we really are as young men. It gave us that opportunity in that window to like let people know who we are outside of just Bishop Sycamore.
That's right. Coach Roy, man, what happened between y'all that now it seems like with him it's like super personal? What happened between y'all's dynamic that created this shift?
I feel like with Roy, he tried to play like a character, and he tried to say and do a lot of stuff. With Roy, it took when I came up there. Okay, for instance, I put it like this: I told you I went on a visit, right? So when I went on the visit, I'm like, hey man, I'm ready to go back home. Like I was up there for like 4 days. I'm like, I'm ready to go back home. Like you just got us up here sitting, telling us, oh, you trying to find flights. And at the time, like a lot of players are already up there, but they can't get back to where they need to go. At the time, like I said, I was doing good. So I'm telling me and my folks, I'm like, oh, we finna fly out. We got to call Uber to get to the airport, pay for the tickets. We finna slide. So that's what I did. So he's like, oh, no. I'm going to give you the money back. Don't worry about it. So I get up there. He didn't get no money back and none of this. And I'm like, okay, you playing with me in my face. Like, nobody eating. These players not eating. So it's like, what's going on? So I pressed the issue heavy about my money. Why he playing? Like, now feeding people. It's just like it was a whole big thing. And then even after the school, I'm still out here going to bat for you, telling people, oh no, this ain't what it is. Yeah, we did go to school. Like I'm trying to like make sure your face guard stay clean. Then when the documentary get here and all that, you trying to tell me not to do the documentary that you own. So I feel like you tried to backdoor me a little bit.
Yeah, man. How did that feel of, okay, in one breath, Justin, I want, your music on this doc that we're going to be part of, to then I ain't really fooling with you no more. Like, how did that
feel? He couldn't, it really didn't affect me because at the like he meant he wasn't beneficial to me. I gained nothing from him. He gained nothing from me. You're not beneficial to me. We just happen to be in the same situation at the same time. That's how I look at it. Yeah. So like anything that Roy got to say, like nobody believe Roy. Nobody take Roy serious. Nobody take Joe Budden serious. Like you a clown. Like I don't know. I don't like listening to that pod. It's like you feel like okay, I ain't tripping off of it. But then it's like you be like, if people really watch the documentary, you laughing at kids who that was their last options. I'm thinking about my teammates. Like these folks really looked up to you and had faith in you to put them in the right predicaments. A lot of these people, a lot of these kids that went to the school, a lot of these players, they could have been out there doing a lot of other different stuff. But they put a trust into you as their last resort, as their last chance. And you laughing about it on the podcast as a black man with other black men saying, fuck them kids and y'all don't really too much care. Y'all black men in power with a platform to where you can say, oh, let's shed light on these kids' situations. Let's see what we can do to get these kids back right. Y'all sit up here and you laugh about it. You don't find, I guess you can say, you don't find a lot of black men that would look at that and say, oh, that's the right thing. That's the right way to go about it. Or a lot of black men won't look at Roy and be like, oh, hey, he a stand-up guy. Let's give him this platform to like come on here and laugh about how he did these kids.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So
for all the people, tuned in who would say, well, Justin, y'all were young men. How did y'all not have discernment, right? And say, okay, something's not right about Coach Roy. He doesn't have a background. This school is not right. We aren't taking real classes. And I know if I don't get credits, I can't transfer those same credits into a college, into a 4-year institution. So for all those people who try to say, well, y'all weren't doing what y'all were supposed to do, what would you have to say towards that?
I totally agree with him. It was certain. I mean, most definitely. It was to the point to where for a lot of us that didn't go to the school previously, we seen that IMG played Bishop Sycamore like 2 or 3 times previously.
Oh, whoa. Hold on. A lot of people, they don't know that. So yeah, IMG did play Bishop Sycamore before.
Yeah, this is not a first time thing. This is the first time it was on TV.
Wow.
Bishop Sycamore played, this is not the first season. Bishop Sycamore played 3-4 seasons. Roy Johnson has 3-4 seasons. All this. Bishop Sycamore has been a thing. This is not a first year thing. So like it raised red flags, but at the same time, we're like, oh, they done did this. They're not new to this. They're used to this. So if anything, we're gonna be better because they have previous experience in these type of situations or these type of schools. They done did business with IMG. They know how IMG operate.
Very interesting, man. So prior to y'all's class, right, did Coach Roy have any proof of concept of previous players who went on to play at the major D1 Power Fives?
To an extent, he had certain players that like went on to do their thing, but then a lot of players he'd be like, "Oh, he just gave up on football." And I'm like, I understand. I look at that school like a JUCO or something. So it's like it's a lot of players that you'll be like, "Oh yeah, he the one," but then he'll give up on football. That's just real life how JUCO go. So you'll be like, okay, that's not odd to hear. But you'll be like, well, who went and did something? Then he'll tell you this player, and then you'll look this player up, and it's like, okay. And then he'll be like, oh, well, he can't play here. Then a school wanted him in 7A or something, or 5A in Ohio wanted him, and he went and played there for his last year. So we're like, okay, cool. So like, it's nothing that nobody ever like said that raised a red flag tremendously as far as it came to like players or after.
Yeah.
I guess one thing for me was graduation, but a lot of us wasn't too much planning on graduating, having a formal ceremony from there. We just wanted to go get our credits, leave that December, and be on our way. So it really wasn't like a big thing to us.
I got that, man. Y'all just trying to graduate and make it. Man, the training staff too. All right, let's say on the turf fields, player A tears something or twists an ankle. What will happen in practice if y'all don't have the training staff?
You go to the hospital. He
Wow.
had dead. The next morning he had text me like, "Who need to go to the hospital? Go to the
He was
hospital.
sending a text saying who needs to go to the
We
hospital.
need to go to the hospital. You go to the hospital."
Wow. It was like that. Man,
Just like that.
body wise, how did it feel with the practicing, with the games? Did
Terrible.
you feel good? Did you feel torn down? How did you feel?
Terrible. I felt like I wasn't. Again, I put it on myself, but when I was up there to make music, rap, play football, do my normal day-to-day life. I was smoking heavy, like
Mm,
smoking super heavy. So I'm conditioning. We're not doing no conditioning, nothing. We not. You conditioning, you run up and down twice. Oh, get out of there. Go play basketball in the basketball courts in the complex. That's as far as it's gonna go. So like, it never really got like, oh my god, like this is serious until we got into a game.
mm.
And it's like when you feel that, you feel like your body not, and you just see it on tape, you're like, this is not even how you play. This is like putting a bad product on the field. So I want to continue to do this.
Yeah, man, that's crazy. So did any of the players want to take initiative, right, to say, hey, we need to do some extra training because Coach
That's
Roy, he
Trill.
ain't giving in that. Yeah,
Trill, the quarterback.
got you.
He always was on like that. All right, but we gotta like we gonna be something. We gotta like put the work in no matter what they on. Like they ain't on that, forget it. We'll be on that. It's our future, not theirs. Like Trill always took the initiative to like, okay, that's what we're gonna be on.
Mm. Trill, man, as a quarterback, how was he? As a teammate, as a leader, what was that whole experience like with him?
Trill the vibe. No cap. Trill the vibe. Like Trill always gonna be like the Trill off the field. It's like it's easier to like respect Trill on the field.
Mm.
Cause like off the field, I put it like this: he a playmaker on and off the field. So if you see how certain situations Trill be in, just life in general, see how he handles stuff, you'll be like, okay, I respect it. Or
Mm.
the hard work, the dedication that he put into his craft, and you can see how bad he wanted. You can't do nothing but respect it.
For sure.
And
On the
that's another
dot.
reason why I feel like for me, it was easier for me to walk away from it because I'm like, okay, if I got this man that's really respecting the game like this, and I
Mm.
know I don't respect the game enough to put my all into it, give my all, take the sacrifices I need to make to be a good teammate. If I know
Mm.
this with my love to the game, I won't want to, keep playing in this man's face. If this is how he planned on getting out, or this supposed to be his way, I won't want to play in nobody's face. Like that's almost like somebody going to the studio, wasting my studio time. I won't want
Mm.
nobody to do that. So I want to go on field and make his craft look bad.
Mm. I respect that. On the dot, staying on Trill's story, seeing how Grambling initially offered him. How did you feel, seeing that offer was later redacted and taken back because of his affiliation with Coach Roy?
I hated it for him, but then again, I'm like, everything happened for a reason. I feel like after the dog and everything, and knowing Trill talent, I feel like it's gonna be a bigger situation for him.
Got you. Some of the players, is it true that they were past eligible age and
No,
against playing high school? So all that's not true?
no.
Because I
The oldest player we had was 19.
got you.
You go look on IMG roster at the time, they had a 19-year-old. They had 19-year-olds as well. It was a prep school. We were supposed to be in a prep
Right.
school. We weren't supposed to be a high school. We
Yeah.
thinking that, okay, a prep school, you play with high schoolers. You're gonna have high schoolers that play up on a prep team, but then it's supposed to be a prep team and it's supposed to be a high school team. That's why we play IMG prep team, IMG
Mm.
Academy prep team. We didn't play that high school team.
Yeah.
It's like you look at stuff like that, and it's like it's the same ages. We just got smashed.
Yeah. So those stories about, I think, a running back or somebody being 25 plus, all of that
No,
was
no.
sensationalized.
Nobody was 25 plus. Our coaches was barely 25.
I
Facts.
got, man, on the coaches, again, did you guys have like position coaches for receivers, offensive linemen, or it was just a few coaches here and there?
We had Coach Terry and like two other coaches, and they just coached. They tell you how to do your position. It's just, and that was that. As far as O line coach, we had Coach Peterson, but he wasn't really no coach. He'd come off of work and just hit the bag. It ain't nothing to it. It was nothing
Jeez.
like that. He ain't talking about drop steps or read. He ain't talking about nothing.
Wow. Wow.
I
That's
didn't meet
crazy.
our center until the day before the game.
Man. So, Justin, tell me this. How did you guys know who was going to start then? Like, who's going to start
That's all
that
we
day?
had,
Wow. So it was probably just 22.
literally.
Wow. Wow, man. Y'all were going through it, man. So with the coaching, that wasn't proper. Did you guys have anybody on the team who would think I still got a shot? I can still make it to college. I can still make it to the league.
We still got people in college. We got Jonah, J-Lo, Trill in
Hmm.
college still. I believe Jeremy's still balling. We got Armand, um, uh, JP. You got a couple different people that's still out there balling that was from that team. So I just hope to see all of them succeed. So we gotta see what happens.
No, for sure. Justin, if you could describe Coach Roy, what words would you use to describe him?
Um, Smart,
Hmm. Very
smart,
interesting choice. Why
smart.
smart?
Because he know how to take a situation and he know how to use it to the best of his ability. Like he know how to a manipulator. That's another one.
Yeah.
Manipulation. So
Yeah.
he know how to like manipulate situations and do what he do best.
No, I feel that. All the people who think it's funny and it's a funny story, it's comical, I can make memes out of this, which I get that, of course, balance to every type of situation in life. Why should people take this story serious?
Because it's players outside of just whatever Roy might say, his opinions towards me or Trill or whoever it may be. It was actual players that went through this and like that was like the actual last stop for them. Like it was nowhere to go after that. Like you homeless after this because you think you going to school. You can't go back home. We had a player that had gunshots in his car, gunshot holes throughout his car. He
Wow.
after that school, where you going back to? He ain't got nowhere to go to. Everybody
Mm,
didn't have it like me to be able to just get up and go home or had a home to go back to. So it's other players that didn't even make the dock, that didn't have the connections to get onto the dock, or that didn't
wow.
have the ability to know how to put themselves in position to get onto this dock. It's a
Mm,
whole different side that not even spoke about.
wow. Life after BS High being on HBO, HBO Max. What has life been like for you after the doc? Whether it's people blowing you up, all of that. What's that been like?
It's been up and down. So I put it like it's been times where it's been good. It's been times where it's been bad. But my thing is staying level headed, not getting too high on myself, not getting too low on myself either. But
Mm-hmm.
just staying level headed. Um, I got it's been like a rebuilding. It's like putting myself back in position to be where I want to be because I felt like it was a learning lesson for me. BSI happened to me. I felt like it was a learning lesson for real, for real. I went up there. I used to go on visits, college visits. I'm not even tripping off football. I walk in there with Balenciaga, Richard Mille watches, like just pocket full of money. Just mine not even on football, but I'm playing in all these people's face.
Mm-hmm.
These kids that's really working to get here, I'm walking in here like this and on my high horse, like I'm the one. And I'm
Mm-hmm.
not taking into consideration just normal human life or normal like people real deal struggle. I'm trying to go for looks and attention, and these people really going through this.
Mm-hmm.
So to go after Bishop Sycamore, take that embarrassment, go through what I went through, and then get knocked off that high horse in every way possible, stripped from vehicle to place to live in, like everywhere possible. And this to be like, okay, relook at the situation. Why was you even here? If you didn't want to do this, why was you even in this predicament?
Mm-hmm.
A lot of different things. It let me respect the bare minimum stuff. It gave me a chance to like relearn myself, learn respect for myself enough to like not put myself in or not allow myself to be able to be put into situations like Bishop Sycamore or just anything, just on day-to-day life. So I feel like
Mm-hmm.
it was a big learning experience.
Yeah. Man, hearing you talk, I hear a whole lot of self accountability, looking into the mirror. What sparked that? Because I think now what people have to give you credit for is, hey, Justin's actually trying to change. He's actually looking in the mirror. So what sparked that for you?
I feel like for me, my drive is like music still. So I feel like I know I was like, okay, if you want to get there, you still can get there. And I feel like I'm a big believer in God and everything happening for a reason. So I
Mm-hmm.
feel like after all the situations I went through with football, and I said I wanted to do music, God still had to show me something while I was on this journey. Although I'm feeling like I'm losing everything from a physical point of view, And a materialistic point of view, God still set me up, okay, I'm gonna bring you out. You still can do your music, but you gotta go through this first. I gotta let you see something before I give you this. You gotta see how where you could be, where you came from, what'll happen if you do this again, all that. It was a learning lesson before you can get to this. Now I know, okay, I went through all this, but now I'm set up to be able to, I do music, I went to this school. It's as simple as that. And actually be able to put a good product behind it.
I feel that, bro. From all the people who saw the doc, which I know is probably in the millions, what do you want for people to take away from your story and the story overall?
Pay attention. Be more vigilant of everything that's happening around you, but also respect yourself in that when you're in that moment. So what I mean by that is when you're going through something, whether it be school, a project, respect that. Give your all in it because it ain't always gonna be there. Or one day you might end up in having to go through something that you wouldn't normally have to go through if you just took it seriously when you could have.
Sure. Justin, if you could talk to Justin from 2-3 years ago, what would you tell him?
Do everything the same way. Everything the same way. I won't want it to change. I will want the same. It's my story. I feel like if I was to go back, I'd make it too good. It wouldn't be any lessons learned. I respect the lessons. So I feel like if I go back and change anything, I'm not gonna learn nothing. I'm gonna still be the same person, just with the answers.
I got you. It's heavy. On the way out, man, how can everybody support you, your music, your platform, and the whole nine?
All right, you can tap into me at NBHJ on Instagram. That's NBHJAYY, and everywhere else really. Keep your eyes open. Look YouTube. I'm dropping some videos. I'm supposed to drop the video Friday. I'll probably upload that tomorrow. Got another interview dropping tomorrow, so we probably drop that tomorrow. It's King Tut, me and my brother Rude Boy. We're gonna drop that tomorrow, and just keep your eyes open and see what's next.
Yes, Justin, I appreciate you again, brother, for reaching out to me, sharing your story onto the platform, man. Stay encouraged. Look, you a soldier. Hey, you've been through it. And man, the best is truly yet to come. So I appreciate you again. Stay up, all right, bro?
Yes, sir. Appreciate you.
Yeah, man, for sure. Hey, I'll stay in touch, all right?
Yes, sir.